Hey everybody, it's Jeff here with mixpractice.com and missionmusician.com. Have another 31 mix tips and 31 days tutorial, so let's dive in. Okay, this is by far the most important mix tip out of all these 31 mix tips. So hopefully your ears are perked up now. Very important for you to listen on headphones or studio monitors. If you're listening on laptop speakers or an iPad or a phone or something, you're not going to catch the nuances of not just this video, but all of these 31 mix tips. Okay, so hopefully you're listening on something good. All right, so I want to talk about phase alignment as far as drums go. So anytime you use multiple mics on an instrument, be it a guitar cabinet, an acoustic guitar, or drums, there's the possibility of phase issues happening because the sound is reaching microphones at different times, canceling out frequencies. Okay, so it's crucial before you even think about slapping on an EQ or a compressor or analog emulation or whatever on a drum set or a multi-mic'd instrument that you make sure the phase is aligned. Otherwise, there is no amount of processing that is going to make it sound full and warm and big. It's always going to sound thin, maybe even a little nasally or hollow. So this is a crucial step before you even start mixing. Now we're going to have some drum tutorials coming up here in the next few days, which is why I want to address this now. Before we even think about processing drums, we need to check phase on the drums. And I'm going to show you how to do that. But the first way I'm going to show you is it's a plugin that actually does it for you. Now, one of the members over at Mix Practice literally bought this plugin for me. He didn't have to. I didn't ask him to. We were just talking about kind of niche plugins that do things that other plugins don't. And, you know, he turned me on to this plugin, and I made it clear to him that at some point I was going to buy it, and he went and bought it for me. So, Tony, dude, thanks, man. This plugin is awesome, and it's a great time saver. I really appreciate it. All right, so all this plugin does is you set it up to receive what track you want it to receive from, and it phase aligns the drums. Okay, so I'm not going to go into a plugin tutorial on this. I just want to have it all set up correctly, and I want to let you hear the difference between a drum set that is out of phase and a drum set that is in phase, and then we'll go and I'll show you how to manually do this. Okay, so here we go. Do you hear how it sounds hollow? It lacks low in energy. It almost sounds a little nasally with the plugins off. And then once we turn the plugins back on, it sounds full. It has body. It has low end. Listen one more time. Okay, huge night and day difference. Now let me show you how to do this without this plugin. Okay, all you need is a stock EQ or a trim plugin, something that has a phase invert button on it, or if you want to call it polarity button, whatever you want to call it. I call it phase invert. So what we're going to do is first we're going to look at the snare top and the snare bottom. All right, so let's zoom in here a little bit. Okay, so here's the waveform of the snare top, and the one below it is the snare bottom. Okay, so if we look at this waveform, So it's going up right here, but if we go down to the snare bottom, it's going down. So it's 180 degrees out of phase with the top snare. So if I put an EQ on the bottom snare, let's just choose a one band, and let's see what happens when I flip the phase invert button. What we're talking about is this little button right up here. I'm going to let it play, and it'll probably sound thin, and then once I turn the phase invert on, it should sound full again. So let's try that. Right? Actually, because everything else is out of phase, we have to do this in solo. So let's listen in solo. Hear that? So the body comes back to the snare by just putting excuse me, a phase invert on it. So we're flipping the phase. Another way you could do it is you could go into Audio Suite. Let me take that off. You could go to Audio Suite. Let's see, where is it? Invert, okay? So I could click on this track and hit render, and now it is lining up. It just flipped it over, right? So this is going up, this is going up, it's in phase. But I'm going to undo that. So that's one way to do it. So now we have these two in phase. Let's bring the overhead up. All right, let's bring that up to the snare. Okay, so the snare hit is right here. We have a close mic, and then we have overheads, so it's later, okay? Now, we could technically scoot this audio forward and line it up with the snare drum. However, I don't generally like to do that, because then you've got the kick up there, and that could take that out of phase. You have to be really careful if you start scooting audio. I want to try to avoid scooting audio if possible. The one that I don't mind scooting so much would be the room mic. But the overheads, I kind of want to keep intact with the way it was recorded. Okay, so let's look at this. So this is going down here, and this is going up here. So these are out of phase with each other. So again, let's listen in solo here, and let's put an EQ on. Let's do another one band here. And I'll play this through, and I'll start popping on the invert and taking it off and see if it sounds fuller. It absolutely sounds fuller with this on. Okay? So let's just listen to these three drums here. The snare top, the snare bottom, and the overhead. And then I will, let's see, I'll take these two plugins in and out, and you can hear the difference. Right? Night and day difference. It sounds fuller, warmer. It doesn't sound hollow or thin. So do this on all of your drums. Anytime you have a multi-mic instrument, I'll go further than all of your drums. I'll say if you have an acoustic guitar that is in stereo, I would always separate the tracks out into mono and make sure they are in phase with each other. Just anytime there is more than one microphone on a instrument, you need to check for phase. Okay, so I hope this tip helped you. This definitely is by far the most important tip as far as dealing with live drums or a multi-mic instrument. So I'll be coming at you tomorrow with another 31 mix tips in 31 days. Thank you for watching. If you like these type of videos, please like and subscribe. Sorry we went a little bit over today, but this is very important. I hope you guys have a great night, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye-bye.